Hi guys, good evening. Can you hear me? Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. So let us start session. That yesterday's session. Yeah. So yesterday's session introduction. These topics we completed yesterday. So what is operating system? About OS, front end, back end softwares, web application architecture. Yes, what is exactly Java? Java is a back end software. So these topics completed. Next, low level languages, high level languages completed. Yeah, today up about interpreter and compiler. Yes. So compilers and interpreters are used to convert from high level language to low level language. So let us see that difference between interpreter and compiler. Let us see difference. Interpreter and compiler. Yeah. See, first of all, about interpreter. So for interpreter, I'm taking Python. Python is the best example for the interpreter. Python is the interpreter based language. Python is the interpreter based language. I'm taking Python for this. Yes, how it's working. Suppose let us take some Python script, very simple script. Python script. Python script. Yeah. Tell star dot star. Clicking on this. Yes. CLS. So TER. Profiles. Yes. Notepad. Yes. Test.py. Yes. Python script. A is equal to 10. B is equal to some statements like C equal to B equal to 20. Python very simple script. C equal to A plus B. C equal to A plus B. Print. Yes. Addition is equal to displaying C value. Right? Next. Next. C equal to A minus B. Addition. Next. Subtraction. C equal to A into B. And then multiplication. So first addition. Next subtraction. Next multiplication. So this is very simple Python script. Yes, how this script is working, let me explain clearly. See the here, the test.py. Okay. Yes. Now let us run it. Python. Yes. Completed. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, right? Yes, done. Okay. Yeah. So today topic about interpreter and compiler. See, compilers and interpreters. Compilers and interpreters are used to convert from high-level language to binary code, system understandable format. High-level language to binary code. Okay, maybe C program, C++, Java, all these high-level languages, Python and all these high-level languages. These languages converting into binary format, converting into binary format. Okay, for this either compiler or interpreter. So interpreters, compilers are to convert from high-level language to binary format, system understandable language. Then, so what is interpreter, what is compiler, how they are working? Let us see. Interpreter both are to convert from high-level language to binary code, but some difference is there. Let us see one by one. First of all, interpreter. Next, we'll see compiler. For interpreter, I'm taking Python. For interpreter, I'm taking Python script. Interpreter, Python, right? So interpreter based language, Python is the best example for the interpreter based language. Okay, so Python script. See, this is Python script, right? So here it's a Python script. Okay, yes. See, CLS. So here, yes, using Notepad, just writing simple Python script. Write Python script. See Python script. A is equal to B equal to 20, C equal to A plus B, print addition equal to C value, C equal to A minus B, subtraction equal to C here, C equal to A into B, multiplication equal to C, right? Displaying this. Save it. Now, let us run it. Python, see this. Test that we were right. Addition equal 30, subtraction equal to minus 10, multiplication to 1 equal to 100, right? So fine. Suppose here no error, everything executed fine. So got the output, right? Suppose if any errors, then what happens here? Okay, here no errors, executed successfully, got the output, right? Successfully got the output. Suppose any errors, what happens? Let us see. Any errors, what happens? Let us see here. Suppose here, for example, here missing some bracket here. Okay, right? Suppose here missing double quotations. Suppose here missing bracket, right? The bracket or comma missing, for example. Save it. Save it and close it. Now how it's working here. Okay, run it here. Yes, Python test.py. That's it. So for interpreter, for interpreter, I have taken Python example. Okay, our topic of course Java. Topic is about Java, but the thing is topic is about interpreter and compiler. Interpreter best example Python. For interpreter best example Python. So that's the reason I have taken Python. Okay. Yes. Our topic is not about Python. Our topic is about interpreter. Just to understand interpreter, I have taken Python. So what happened here? Here in this, yes. So here, so this statement error, this is total. There are three statements errors, right? There are three errors. There are three errors. But when you run this, what happens? Only one error, right? Only one error is not showing all the errors. Only one error. This one is not showing all errors here. So what happens here? Yes, let me explain clearly. So how that interpreter is working here, how that interpreter is working, how interpreter is working. Let me explain about this interpreter, how it's working here. Okay. Yes, how it's working, let me explain. Yes, here interpreter checks the code line by line. Checking code line by line. Suppose checking first line, correct. Checking next line, correct. Checking next line, correct. Checking next line. Something wrong here. Simply stops. Okay. So interpreter checks the code line by line. Interpreter checks the code line by line. So first line checking, next line checking, next line checking. If any error comes, simply stops. It won't go to next statements. So interpreter, if any error comes, any error comes, interpreter stops. Any error comes, interpreter stops. It won't go to next statements. Okay, so interpreter checks the code line by line, checking first line if it is correct, checking next line if it is correct, checking next line if it is correct, if it is yes, next checking next line. So something wrong simply stops. So any error comes, simply interpreter stops. That's it here. It won't check for all the errors here. Interpreter it won't check for all the errors, checking for only first error. So any error comes, simply stops. Okay. It won't go to next statements. It won't go to next statements. Any error comes, simply stops. So this is working of interpreter. So interpreter checks line by line. If any error comes, simply stops. It shows only one error. It shows only one error. Let us see that. Yes, correction of this error. Okay. After correction, now let us run it here. Yes, saved. After correction, saved. Now run it here. See this. Now 11th line error. So next error, right? 11th line error. 11th one error, right? 11th one error. Now 11th line. So let us correct this mistake here. Right? Correction. Save. Correction is done. Save it, right? Save it. Next run it here. Yes, now. Yes, 16th line error. Now here is a 16th line is error, right? So interpreter showing only one error here. Showing only one error. So here comma missing, right? Comma missing. Okay. Save it. Save it. Now run it here. Correct, yes, that's it here. So this is working of interpreter. So interpreter checks the code line by line. If any error comes, simply stops. If any error comes, interpreter stops. So interpreter shows only one error here. Interpreter shows only one error. Suppose if no errors, everything is fine. If no errors, everything is fine. Then what happens here? If no errors, everything is fine. That case, what happens here? If no errors, so what happens? Yes. So top to bottom checking first line, next line, next. So here are this is also correct. So this also correct. Yes, this also correct. So this also correct. Everything is correct. All the statements are correct. So checking line by line. Any error comes, simply stops. Any error simply stops. If no error, what happens here? Now, yes, after checking all these lines, now line by line conversion. So first line converts into binary format, zeros ones format. After converting to binary formats, yes, given to processor. So processor taking that code and generating output simply. Generating output simply. Right? Similarly, taking next statement. So if everything is fine, so you can now line by line conversion here. Okay, line by line. So zeros ones format, machine language, conversion to binary formats and given to processor, given to processor, given to processor, then generating output simply, just generating output, right? Generating output. So like this next line also converts into binary format. So next line also converts into binary format. Like this line by line checking if everything is correct, then line by line converting, then executing, right? Line by line converting, then executing. So then getting that output format, output, right? That's it. Okay, right? So this is working of interpreter. Okay. So interpreter checks the statement line by line, checking line by line. If any error comes, simply stops. If no errors, then converting code into binary format, line by line, first line, next line, next line, next line like this. So top to bottom executes. That's it. So this is working of interpreter. So working of interpreter. Let us take compiler. So same thing, how compiler is working here. Compiler. Compiler for compiler best example C language. Compiler. Compiler. So for the compiler, I'm taking C programming. For the compiler, simply I'm taking C programming. Compiler. Suppose C program. For compiler, I'm taking C program. Suppose, for example, C program. Test.c. Some C program. Yes, if it is C program, how it works here? C program. Let us take C program. C program statements. Just assume some statement like this. First statement. So next statement. Just imagine. There's some statements like this. So next statement. 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 Suppose C program statements. C program statements. C program statements. Yes, how it works here? Yes, C program, compiler, checking first line. Compiler checking first line. If it is correct, then it goes to next line. Checking next line. Next line also correct. Then go to next statement. Checking next line. Next line also correct. Then go to next line. Suppose something wrong. something wrong. It shows error at some line. So error at some line. Yes, even error getting, it goes next line also. Checking next statement. Even error even error getting, go to next line. Go to next line. Like this, compiler checks the whole program from top to bottom. Compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. Whole code from top to bottom like this. Okay. Yes, in case of interpreter, what happens here? If any error comes, stops. Interpreter, any error comes. Suppose here some error comes, stops. Interpreter stops. But compiler is not like that here. Compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. Compiler checks whole codes. Compiler checks whole code from top to bottom and shows all the errors. Shows all the errors. Compiler shows all the errors. So this is working of compiler. Compiler checks whole code from top to bottom. It shows all the errors. Yeah, let me show the C program example. C program, is it installed or not? Let me check it. C program example. C drive. Wait 1 second. C. Right click in there. 1 second. Yeah. Let me install. Desktop icon. Okay. Install. Here this is C language ID. Okay, just I'm writing simple program. Hash includes std io.h. Next white main function starting ending. Yes. Suppose int a, next int b, int c, all declarations. Okay. Suppose printf function hash includes one u.h. Okay. So ABC, three variables here. CLR set to clear this screen here. Slash n. Yes, enter first number. Enter first number. Reading first number. Scanf. Personal D. Yes, ampersand. A. So reading first number. Right, next printf. Printf slash n. Enter second number. Enter second number. Reading second number. Scanf. Yes, personal D. Comma ampersand D. Yes, reading two numbers. Of reading two numbers, C equal to A plus B addition. Same like a Python example. Same like a Python example. Right? Next. So printf. Printf slash n. Yes, addition. Yes, addition is equal to. Yes, display the C value. Addition equal to. Yes, personally display C value. Right? Next, C equal to. Yes, A minus B. C equal to A minus B. Yes, it's a compiler based C language. Printf slash n. Yes, addition, then subtraction. Subtraction equal to, yes, personal D, comma C, distinct C value. Next C equal to 8, same like a Python script. Python script, same C program here. So printf slash n multiplication. Multiplication equal to personal D, comma C. That's it here, right? Same. Same like a, yes, like a Python script. Here, two numbers. Reading two numbers. So reading two numbers here. Yes, first addition, next subtraction, next multiplication, right? Multiplication. Next here, the end, get ch. To see the output, get ch function. Okay, so this is C program, right? Now, let us save this one here. Save. F2. Save. Save. So here, test.cpp, right? Yes, done, right? Let us compile. Yes, error, somewhere error. CLR, SCR. CLR, SCR. Okay. Save it. Yes, now compile it. Compiled. Success, right? Success. Now run it here. Run it. First number 10. Second number 20. So got the output, right? Got the output done. Okay, right? Now let us see. Suppose any errors, what happens here? Suppose if any error, what happens? Let us see that errors also. Any errors, what happens here? Okay, any errors, what happens? Suppose some mistakes. Here, suppose here semicolon missing. Suppose here bracket missing. Okay. Suppose here scanner comma missing. Suppose here semicolon missing. Suppose here double quotation missing. Yes, here semicolon missing. Okay, suppose here some bracket missing. What happens? Let us see. Save it. Once modified, we should save it. Saved. After saving, now compiling. See this. See total errors. 11 errors. Totally 11 errors. See that errors here. So compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. See that seventh line error, eighth line. Look at the bottom. Seventh line, eighth line, 11, 17, 19. So all these errors, 23, 27, 29, all these statements, right? So compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom, right? Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. So compiler, see same thing explain. See this compiler checking whole code from top to bottom shows all the errors. In case of interpreter, what happens here? Any error comes from the stops. Even that also discussed very clearly. Interpreter, any error comes, stops. Any error comes, stops. But compiler is not like that here. Compiler checks. Compiler checks whole code from top to bottom. Compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. See here all 11 errors, right? All the errors from top to bottom. So here all the errors. See total 11 errors. So next, and see that all the errors, right? Now let us correct all that mistakes here. Let us correct one by one. Yes. Now here semicolon missing, right? Semicolon missing. Okay. Suppose here semicolon. Suppose here semicolon missing. Okay. Next here double quotation missing. Okay. Yes. Now let us save it. Yes. 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 Overwriting. Compile. Yes. Still some more errors. 4 errors. Still some more errors. 4 errors, right? Now correct that mistakes. Correct that mistakes here. So comma. Correct it here. Correct that mistake here. Yes. Now again save it. Save it. Save it. Overwrite yes. Now recompile. Still two more errors. Still two more. So here two more errors. So here semicolon. So here semicolon missing. And next it gets ch at the end. So bracket missing, right? Bracket missing. Compile yes success. Success. Okay. No errors. So everything is fine, success, right? If no errors, what happens? What is next step? Let me explain. Compile, success, right? If success, next run it. Yes, enter first number 10, next number 20. So got the output, right? That's it. Yes, if no errors, what happens? Let me explain clearly here. Suppose if no errors, everything is fine. That case, what happens here? In that case, what happens? So you can checking all the statements from top to bottom. Compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. All the lines from top to bottom. Everything checking, right? Suppose if no errors, then compiler, it opens another file. Just it opens another file. If no errors, it opens another file. 1 second. If no errors, then it opens another file and converting this whole code. See this code. So this is source code. This is called as source code. This whole code, this whole code converts into binary format. That whole code. So first line converts into binary format, zeros ones format, binary format, and write to another file. Next line converts into binary format. So next line converts into binary format. So next line, yes, converts into binary format, write to another file. So every line, so top to bottom, whole code from top to bottom converts into binary format and writing to another file. Just writing to another file. Whole code from top to bottom converts into binary format and writing to another file. This file is called as exe file. This file is a exe test.exe file page. Test.exe, right? Test.exe. After creation of exe file, this exe file given to processor. This exe file given to processor. So this exe file given to processor. So processor taking that exe file and generating output simply. That's it here. Executes and generates output simply. Executing and generating output simply. So this is working of compiler. So compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. Compiler checks the whole code from top to bottom. Suppose if no errors, that whole code converts into binary format. Okay. Yes, if any errors, it shows all the errors from top to bottom. If no errors, converts whole code to binary format and generates one exe file, writing to exe file. That exe file given to processor. So is exe file given to processor. So processor taking that exe file executes and generating outputs. That's all. So this is compiler. See, in case of interpreter, what happened here? Line balance checking and line balance conversion, right? Converted given to processor, converted given to processor. So this binary code is not storing anywhere. In case of interpreter, this binary code is not storing anywhere. So direct executing, this binary code executing direct is not storing anywhere. But when come to compiler here, this whole code converts into binary format and storing to another file called as exe file. Exe file. So this is main difference, exe file. In case of interpreter, no exe file. Interpreter don't have any exe file, directly executes. But compiler, yes, it generates one exe file. Compiler generates exe file, then executes. So interpreter does not generate any exe file. So line variant directly executing, it won't generate any exe file. It won't generate any exe file. But compiler generating one exe file, that exe file executes finally. Let me show that exe file. Even that exe file also, let me show that exe file. C drive, TC folder, yes, bin folder, test. Yeah, this is your program, right? So this is program. ABC, this is your program. Okay. Program. See here. Let me delete some related files here. So test.c, right? Now let me compile it here. Compile, right? Now, so when I try to run it here, so before going to run the program, it creates one exe file. Before going to run the program, it creates one, just observe it here. Try to observe it here, run it here, see that exe file, see this exe file created, application, exe file. Yeah, check it here. Yes, properties. Is it .exe file created. .exe file created. .exe file created, right? .exe file created. .exe file created and executed. That's it here. Okay, so .exe file created and executing here. So enter first number 10, enter second number 20. So addition, subtraction, multiplication. That's it here. Okay. So here what is happening here? Compiler generated one exe file like this. Exe file generated. Compiler generates exe file and executes. See, in case of interpreter, what happens here? See, interpreter, this is interpreter, right? In case of interpreter, see this. Here what happens here? Interpreter. So directly the source code executing, right? Test.py. So that Python interpreter, test.py, test.py directly executed. Interpreter executes source code directly. It won't generate any exe file. So this is difference between interpreter and compiler. So this is difference between interpreter and compiler. Let me explain points wise. Okay. Let me explain points wise. So interpreter compiler differences. Let me explain clearly. Interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler, the differences. Let me explain that here. Interpreter versus compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. Right? Interpreter versus compiler. So first interpreter and then compiler. Interpreter versus compiler. How it's working? Let me explain clearly. Interpreter versus compiler. Right? First difference. Interpreter. It checks the codes. It checks the codes line by line. It checks the code line by line. Interpreter. It checks the codes line by line. Yes, compiler. Yes, it checks whole codes, whole codes from top to bottom. From top to bottom. It checks whole code from top to bottom. See, interpreter it checks the codes. It checks the code line by line. Compiler it checks whole code from top to bottom. Right? Next. Yes. It checks the code line by line. So compiler is whole code from top to bottom. Right? Next. Yes. It executes codes line by line. It takes the code, execute code line by line execution, line by line. Yes, in case of compile whatever whole code executing at a time because of exe file, generating exe file at a time. It executes, it executes, it executes. Yes, whole code from top to bottom at a time, from top to bottom, from top to bottom at a time, bottom at a time, right? At a time, right? Next, in case of interpreter, if any error comes, if any yes, error comes. If any error comes, okay, if any error comes, yes, interpreter stops. If any error comes, yes, if any error comes, okay, yes, if any error comes, interpreter, if any error comes, it stops. It stops, right? If any error comes, it stops. That means shows only one error. It shows it shows only one error. Shows only one error. It shows only one error, right? Only one error. It shows only one error. So when you come to compile the here, yes, it checks whole code from top to bottom. Even error comes, yes, it goes next line. It checks complete code from top to bottom. Okay, it shows all the errors in this. It shows all the errors. It shows all the errors from top to bottom, all the errors from top to bottom, from top to bottom, from top to bottom, from top to bottom. It shows all the errors from top to bottom. See, interpreter, if any error comes, it stops. It shows only one error. But compiler, even error comes, it goes next line, checks whole code from top to bottom. It shows all the errors. It shows all the errors from top to bottom, right? So you can next different main defense exe file. Exe file. So interpreter, yes, it does not generate exe. It generate, does not generate, does not generate exe file. It does not generate exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Right? When complete compiler, it generates exe file. Just now showed, right? It generates exe. Practically we discussed it. Generates exe file. Generates exe file. Generates exe file. See that exe file compiler. Here is exe file. Right? In case of interpreter, no exe file, only source code. Source code, right? Only source, no exe file. So interpreter, interpreter does not, it does not generate exe file. Compiler generates exe file, right? So next, see, it executes, it executes source code directly. 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 Yes, interpreter, it executes source code directly. It executes source code directly here. Yes, when come to compiler, yes, it executes exe file. It executes, it generates exe and executes exe file. It executes exe file. Okay. See, in case of interpreter, what happened here? See, this interpreter. See, the source code test.py. So Python, yes, test.py. Yes, executed directly. It executes source code directly. So when come to compiler, generating exe file, that exe file executes. It executes exe file. It executes exe file, right? Next, interpreter-based language. So these are called as these are called as scripting languages. So they are called as scripting language. Scripting language. So these are called as scripting languages. Scripting language, right? All interpreter-based languages are scripting languages. Interpreter-based languages are scripting languages. Scripting language. Okay, right? Yes, compiler based. So these are called as these are called as programming language. So these are called as programming language. Programming language. Okay. So these are called as programming language. So all interpreter based languages are scripting languages. All compiler based are programming language. Okay. Interpreter based. Okay. So interpreter based is scripting language. Compiler based are programming language. Okay. Right. Next here. See interpreter based examples. Interpreter based language examples. Python is the best example of interpreter based language. Python, HTML, HTML. Next, JavaScript. So PHP. Next, Perl scripting, Linux is shell scripting, Linux is shell scripting. So these are interpreter-based languages. So all these are interpreter-based languages. So compiler-based examples, C and C++, C and C++. Next, apart from this, .NET, yes, C sharp. So C sharp, right? So these are compiler based. So these are, yes, so these are interpreter based language, they are compiler based languages. Okay. So finally, some conclusion here. See, interpreter based languages, yes, interpreter based languages, yes, interpreter based language don't have exe file, don't have exe file. Interpreter based language, so Python, no exe file. For HTML, HTML stands for hypertext markup language, right? HTML also don't have exe file. .html is an extension. HTML don't have exe file. JavaScript, okay, so don't have exe file. JavaScript is not a Java. JavaScript different, Java different. So JavaScript, yes, is running at the client side. Java is at the server side. Okay. JavaScript, it's a browser understandable language using for client side validations. JavaScript different, Java different, not same. JavaScript different, Java different. Next, PHP, Perl, all the scripting languages. So these scripting languages don't have exe file. Directly source code execute, no exe files. C programming generating exe, C++ exe, .NET exe, all these cases getting exe files. So these cases exe files, right? Okay. Yes, interpreter based language don't have exe file. So compiler. So here everything is exe file. Everything finally. So everything finally. Yes, finally. Yes. So here finally. Yes, generates. Finally generates exe file. Finally generates exe file and executes. Here is exe file. That's it here. So compiler based is file is having exe file. Okay. Interpreter based language don't have exe file. So compiler based is having exe file. Okay, fine. Okay. So these are interpreter based language, they are compiler based language. Okay, right? Fine. Well and good. Now, so okay. So we are discussing about all of these things, right? So where is Java now? What is Java? So what is Java? Is it interpreter based or compiler based? So what is Java? What is Java? Yes. Is it interpreter based? Yes, interpreter based. Is it interpreter based or compiler based? Is it interpreter based or compiler based? What is Java? Interpreter based or compiler based? What is Java? Okay, right? Yes. So interpreter depends on both. Sorry, Java depends on both interpreter as well as compiler. The topic tomorrow I'll explain here. So depends. Java depends on Java depends on both. Java depends on both compiler, yes, as well as interpreter. Compiler as well as interpreter. So this topic tomorrow we'll discuss. I'll explain clearly. Yes, almost more than half an hour it will be taken finish. Okay. So what is Java? Yes, is it interpreter based or compiler based here? Yes, Java is depends on both compiler as well as interpreter. This topic tomorrow I'll explain here. So how it is interpreter and compiler tomorrow I'll explain here. Okay, fine. Yeah, today class. See, this is document. See difference between interpreter and compiler. See all that points is prepared in document. All these points prepared in document. See about Java. Java depends on both compiler as well as interpreter. That reason tomorrow I'll explain. Tomorrow I'll explain. Yeah, that's all for tomorrow is Monday. In Monday session I'll explain. Yeah, that's all for today. Any doubts, guys? Yeah, today enough. Okay, Saturday. Okay, enough. We'll continue on Monday. Next session.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, no doubts, right? Yeah. So thank you, guys. So let us wind up session for today. Thank you. Have a great night.